Myself, Professor B.N. Kalunkhe, Head Department of Zoology, RBNB College, Rampur. Today I am going to discuss on water pollution. Ecologist Odom defined definition of pollution. Ecologist A.P. Odom 1971 in defined pollution is undesirable change in physical, chemical and biological characteristics. Undesirable or unwanted or unfavorable change in physical, chemical and biological characteristic of abiotic factors. For example, water, air, soil. Due to human activities, this alteration, that is change, is due to different human activities in water, air, soil, etc. and that causes various harmful or adverse effects. Harmful or adverse effects on the body of human beings, domestic animals, aquatic organisms, including plants and animals. They show adverse effects, harmful effects on such different organisms. That is called as pollution. For example, water pollution, a kind of environmental pollution. Water pollution. Water pollution is defined as undesirable or unwanted or unfavorable changes that occurs in physical characteristic, chemical characteristic, biological characteristic of water that results in causing various adverse effects on different organisms, including human beings, domestic animals, aquatic animals, or plants. It is called as water pollution, or in a simple language, any addition of substances in a water that alters such characteristics, physical characteristic, chemical characteristic, biological characteristic of water body, that is water. It may be surface water or groundwater. and which becomes responsible for causing various diseases or disorders in the body of organisms. That is called as water pollution. Then sources. Sources of water pollution. Sources of water pollution. First, domestic waste and sewage. Domestic waste and sewage. Second, industrial waste and effluents. Industrial waste and effluents. Third, biocides and fertilizers. Biocides and fertilizers. Next, thermal pollution, that is thermal activities, and radioactive waste. These are the different sources of water pollution. That is, they cause a pollution of water. Fresh water, for example, pond water, lake water, river water, and sea water also. Last one, there is another source, oils, especially in sea water. Sea water. These are different sources. Domestic waste and sewage, industrial waste and effluents, biocides, that is pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, weedicides, etc., and chemical fertilizers. Thermal pollution, that is heating of water bodies by release of thermal power stations. In thermal power station, light is generated by use of coal, and for cooling purpose, cooling of machineries, water is used, and that hot water is released into nearby water bodies. That increases temperature of such water bodies. Radioactive substances and oils. These are different sources. The first one, तिकट करावं लागणार तिकडे. Domestic waste and sewage. It is household waste material. Household waste material. That is waste material produced at houses. For example, in villages, towns or cities. household waste, that includes waste material produced by human being, that is fecal matter or excreta of human being. Fecal matter or excreta of human being. Urine, minerals, other nutrients, and such waste material excreta, for example cow dung, cattle dung, urine from cattle, domestic animals, waste material produced in the kitchen, waste food material, vegetables, fruits, waste material produced in bathroom, soaps, detergents. These are the sources of water pollution, which are called as domestic waste and sewage. That is waste material produced in house by human being and domestic animals. Such waste material is finally dumped or discharged into nearby water body like river, pond, lake, etc. Finally, that is discharged. For example, municipal waste, large cities, waste material produced in large cities, towns and villages or rural area also. Finally, such waste material is dumped or released, discharged into nearby water bodies, and that becomes responsible for a water pollution. The agents which are responsible for causing a pollution, they are called as pollutants. They are of two types. Biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable, that is they are degraded or decomposed by microbial activities in water bodies. When they are dumped into water body, in the water bodies there are microbes. These microbes decompose or degrade such waste material by their activities at a harmless level. Such pollutants are called as biodegradable pollutants. For example, vegetable waste material, food waste material, paper waste material, it is decomposed, that is degraded, broken down at a harmless level. When amount of waste material is less and water body is large, when amount of such waste material is less and water body is large, they are degraded at a harmless level, and such pollutants are called as biodegradable pollutants. Second one type of pollutants is called as non-biodegradable pollutants. They does not degrade by microbial activities. They remains persistent for longer period. For example, plastic material, polythene bags, glass material, metals, they does not degrade or decompose, and such pollutants are called as non-biodegradable pollutants. Domestic waste and sewage, it is a biodegradable waste material. It is a biodegradable waste material. And when amount of that waste material is large, for example, municipality waste or city waste or town waste in nearby water bodies, such water body get polluted and there is a change in physical characteristic, chemical characteristic, biological characteristic, and that adversely affect organisms which are found in such water bodies, for example, pond water body, river water body, or sea water body. Organisms which are living, that is called as aquatic organisms, are adversely affected. And when such organisms are eaten, for example, fishes, then such poisons or chemicals that enters in the body of human being in the domestic animals and causes various diseases. When polluted water is used for drinking purpose, polluted water becomes unfit for drinking purpose and other domestic use. Similarly, for irrigation purpose, polluted water becomes unfit for drinking purpose, other domestic use, and for irrigation purpose also. And when water gets polluted by domestic waste and sewage, it becomes responsible for causing various diseases in case of, for example, human beings. And diseases caused by drinking polluted water, they are commonly called as waterborne diseases. They are called as waterborne diseases. When polluted water is used for drinking purpose, that results in various disorders. About 80% diseases are caused by such polluted water. And examples of waterborne diseases are cholera, dysentery, typhoid, jaundice, filariasis, gastroenteritis. These are examples of waterborne diseases. Similarly, domestic waste and sewage. Sewage is a cloudy fluid or liquid. It is a cloudy fluid, sewage, that mainly contains human fecal matter, urine, cattle dung and their urine, minerals and nutrients. That fluid is called as sewage. It is called as sewage. Sewage shows BOD level high. Sewage contains BOD level high. Biological oxygen demand. BOD, that means biological oxygen demand, is high, and CO2 is less. oxygen is less amount of oxygen, high amount of BOD, less amount of oxygen. That is called as sewage. The examples of some other disorders. For example, another source. It is about domestic waste and sewage. Another source is called as industrial waste. Industrial waste and effluents. Waste material produced from large number of industries. For example, sugar industry, textile industry, tanneries, fertilizer industries, pesticide industries, such rubber industries. Various industries produce large amount of waste material, and that waste material that contains cyanides, that is poisonous chemicals. Variety of poisonous chemicals, for example cyanides, and heavy metals. For example, mercury, lead, cadmium. That is industrial waste material produced by a variety of industries. Food processing industry, cotton industry, that is textile industry, sugar industry, tanneries, leather industries. These variety of industries produces large amount of waste material, and that mainly contains poisonous chemicals and heavy metals. And such waste material is finally dumped or discharged into nearby water bodies. It is called as waste material produced from industrial waste, that is industries. Then another type of source is biocides and fertilizers. It is a common term, biocides, poisonous chemicals such as insecticides, poisons which are used to killing insects, insecticides, weedicides, herbicides, etc. Poisonous chemicals are used to control the pest population, weed, herbs, etc. And fertilizers, especially chemical fertilizers, they are used to increase productivity of soil. That is to increase a crop yield. When poisonous chemicals are used, that is biocides, for example B.Sc, DDT, endrine, diendrine, parathione, malathione, heptachlor. These chemicals are used in the crop fields or vegetables to control a pest population, killing pest population. These poisonous chemicals are non-biodegradable pollutants. They do not degrade. They remain persistent for longer periods in crop fields, various crops, vegetables or fruit plants, and they are washed with irrigation water or rainwater, and finally reach in the nearby water bodies, for example well. and that causes pollution of a such water body. Similarly, chemical fertilizers, they are also non-biodegradable pollutants. They are finally reached with runoff water, irrigation water or rainwater into nearby water bodies, lake, river, well, etc. And that causes pollution of water body. Then radioactive waste material, oils, petroleum oils, they are also responsible for causing a water pollution. And waste material produced by human being, domestic animals, industries, then biocides, pesticides, they accumulated in the water bodies and they show some adverse effects. For example, domestic waste material is responsible for causing eutrophication. This waste material produced by domestic animals and human beings, that contains phosphates, nitrates, etc., like fertilizers. And when such waste material is dumped into water body, in water body, the clean water is converted into polluted water. Clean water is called as oligotrophic water, and polluted water is called as eutrophic water. And that process of conversion of oligotrophic water, that is clean water, into polluted water, that is eutrophic water, it is called as eutrophication. Domestic waste material is responsible for causing a eutrophication. That clean water contains more amount of oxygen and less amount of CO2. And eutrophic water contains less amount of oxygen and more amount of CO2. Due to nutrients, that is fertilizers, that favors growth of algae in such water body, that favors growth of algae. Fast growth of algae is commonly called as algal bloom. It is called as algal bloom. A fast growth of algae in water body, on the surface of water body. Here, this algae compete with other plants for taking oxygen. That results in reduction of oxygen level. They compete for oxygen consumption. That results in reduction in oxygen level. And when there is a low oxygen level, finally aquatic organisms are adversely affected. They are adversely affected. This one is an effect of domestic waste material, that is eutrophication. Thank you.